Hello, everyone. This is Andres Restart, and we should be live. Should be live. I'm not using a headset. I feel like I can get away with it, but if you guys do hear like any sort of like background noise or looping or anything like that, let me know. I'll put it in the headset. I think it'll be fine, but just let me know. Basically, let me know if everything looks and sounds okay throughout the stream, if there's any issues. But yeah, we're just gonna be chatting about Nintendo tonight. I had a guest lined up, but issues came up, and then I asked a few people, but they could not make it. So it is just me tonight. I do want to try and like bring more people on like as guests with some regularity moving forward. Just you know, didn't work out this time, so it's just me. But we do have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here. We have, you know what? It just feels wrong. I feel like it just. It feels so alien to me. So I'm putting on the headset. Just I feel like when I put on the headset, it helps to isolate the outer world, so I feel more like here. Yeah, all of a sudden I feel like I'm in it. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. I'm here now. But let me pull up the chat so I can see you guys. There we go. Ooh, I love some of these questions. Love them. Love them. Let's get started. Okay. So scrolling to the top here. Hello there, Robbie Rains. Hello there, Freddie Guerra. Hello there, Pokemon fan. Sable IMK. Hello there. Horizon 371. Horizon, I think it's interesting that you're asking if I was gonna have Bo on. I actually did ask him, but he's busy tonight. So it's just me streaming tonight. But we got stuff to talk about, so we're talking about stuff. We are talking about stuff. We're gonna be talking about the Pokemon Generation 10 leaks. We're gonna be talking about Pokemon Legends ZA reviews. We're gonna be talking about just the leaks in general regarding Pokemon. We're not gonna be spoiling like story stuff for Legends ZA. I haven't even seen that stuff. I'm not gonna mention the megas either. We're just gonna talk about how people have been saying good things about Legends ZA, and then diving into all like the Generation 10 leaks and things like that. We're also gonna be talking about Metroid Prime 4 because it's coming out soon. That's my most anticipated game of the year. And Zelda, because I think that's going to be the big thing next year with the 40th anniversary. That's the kind of basic plan, but, you know, whatever you guys bring up in the chat is going to kind of steer the conversation, to be honest. Now, let me see here. There's this question. All right, so Willie Afton added me and asked, "Hey, Andres, where do you get the Ocarina of Time remake stuff?" So, all right. The Ocarina of Time remake stuff stems initially, we have to go back several years. In the thick of the Switch era, Game Over Jesse had heard about an Ocarina of Time HD. And so there was a rumor for an Ocarina of Time HD. And those rumors kind of died down after Nintendo added Ocarina of Time to Nintendo Switch Online. But that's not really Ocarina of Time HD. Now, rumors kind of died there for a few years, right? But you know, we had Final Fantasy VII remake come out, the original release, and that started kind of fueling some speculation from myself. I think I made videos back in 2020 talking about that it would make sense for Nintendo to do an ambitious remake for Ocarina of Time. And the reason why some of those kind of connections started was because back in 1990 well, I think 7 Remake came out in 97, if I'm not mistaken, but Ocarina of Time came out in 98. And those are kind of just like two games that they're very different from each other, but kind of like Final Fantasy 7 was like that really big, iconic, amazing adventure for PlayStation 1. And Ocarina of Time was that for Nintendo 64. So they were kind of both heralded in similar fashion for many years, right? So that's kind of where there's a little bit of that connection. And you see how Square Enix remade Final Fantasy VII. It's more than a remake; it's a reimagining, right? It's become this whole bigger thing. And so there's a little bit of like that conversation of what could Nintendo do if they were to go in that direction with Ocarina of Time. Now, that was just kind of speculation at the time, right? But as time has progressed, different things have happened that seem to suggest that Nintendo would actually want to do something like this. So, firstly, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that was the big Zelda game Nintendo was working on throughout most of the Switch era, and it came out in 2023. And so that took them over half a decade to make, meaning that there's not going to be a brand new, full, proper 3D Zelda for many years. So there won't be any brand new, proper 3D Zelda to start off the Switch 2 generation. And they're going to need that. At first, back in like 2020, we thought, oh, maybe, the Switch 2 would come out alongside Tears of the Kingdom. But that's not what happened, right? Switch 2 came out this year in 2025, well, 2 years later, more than 2 years later. So the timing didn't work out there. And so Nintendo doesn't have like a big epic new Zelda title to bring in the Zelda fan base. And historically speaking, there always is something. If it's not at launch, it comes out fairly soon. So there's kind of that angle, but they can't possibly have a new game. So what's the next best thing? An ambitious remake. And they've already remastered all the 3D Zeldas. What's next is actually remaking them. And yes, there's a big difference between remastering a Zelda game and remaking them, right? A lot of people conflate the two. They are two different things. And I understand there are times you're not sure. And quite frankly, it is hard to tell sometimes. Like you look at Metroid Prime Remastered, and at face value, you look at it visually, and you're like, oh, that's a remake. But it's defined as a remaster. Why? Well, you look at the title, it's called Remastered, right? But the developers define it as a remaster because they actually use the same code from the original Metroid Prime. It's just building off of that code. They are enhancing the base game. Now, there's some significant enhancements, clearly visually. It's a very ambitious remaster, but it is that, a remaster. A remake is a totally new project. And so typically remakes imply something even more ambitious. Like while I could say Prime Remastered is, yes, a remaster, an ambitious one, there are also more subtle remasters. Like you look at Skyward Sword HD, or you look at the recently released Mario Galaxy 1+2. Those are remasters. Textbook definition for remasters to simply enhance the product, an enhancement. So even if it's not a great remastering, it can still be considered a remaster. So I'm just kind of explaining that there, but kind of coming back to the reasoning behind the whole Ocarina of Time remake. This is layered, right? There's layers upon layers here, right? So just bear with me. But what I'm ultimately getting at here is that Nintendo kind of needs to provide some sort of major Zelda offering early for Switch 2. And a remake's kind of their best bet at this point. Now, what makes this interesting, though, is that we actually have seen several signs that Nintendo is doing something for Ocarina of Time. One, they put out that Zelda Lego set that not only includes the Deku Tree from Breath of the Wild, but oddly pulls the Deku Tree design from 1998 of Ocarina of Time. Echoes of Wisdom had more references to the Hero of Time than any other era of Zelda by a significant degree. Look at Volvagia, for example. A lot of the architecture, a lot of the characters, like the Deku Scrubs, for example. I made a whole video about this like last year. So like there are some of these little things, but there's much bigger things that are happening. So, for example, there are two different interviews, one from Game Informer and one from Nintendo Dream Magazine, both of which the series producer, Eiji Aonuma, actually hinted at Ocarina of Time. And some people may look at that and say, oh, it doesn't mean much, right? But the thing is, it actually means a lot with Zelda if you pay attention to Zelda history, because Eiji Aonuma has actually teased many future Zelda projects, and well, they came to fruition. He was at a Zelda concert and he literally spoke to the crowd and said, "Hey, I know what you guys are thinking, right? Skyward Sword on Switch, right?" And Nintendo executives shortly afterwards denied the possibility. But what happened a few years later? Skyward Sword HD came out. He's even confirmed that he does tease things sometimes. Like has confirmed that he was teasing a Link's Awakening remake in an interview when the game came out a few years later. He actually recently also confirmed Echoes of Wisdom. Like he was asked about a playable Princess Zelda in a Zelda game, and a few months later, Echoes of Wisdom was announced. There was also teasing for Majora's Mask 3D, and then that was confirmed later on. So there's actually a pretty significant history of Aonuma teasing future Zelda projects, and the manner in which he does it. Typically, he has some sort of reference in English, and there's something said in a kind of hilarious, funny way, and that's usually the tall tale sign that he's hinting at something. I had a whole video kind of going over all the different instances where he's done this, and that's exactly how he operates, and that's exactly what happened in both cases for these Ocarina of Time teases from these two different magazine interviews. So you have the teases, you have some kind of merchandising with the Deku Tree stuff, you have the Echoes of Wisdom stuff, but then we also look at the recently released Soul Calibur 2 that incorporates Ocarina of Time Link. These are all like subtle things, right? It's not the one thing that makes you think, oh, this has to happen, right? And you may be wondering, like, why does like a Lego set matter? Why does like Soul Calibur 2 Link matter? Why do these little things matter? The interviews you might get, but why do the little things matter? The little things matter because we've also observed over these last handful of years that Nintendo actually likes to do cross promotion and building up of their IP. We saw them do it with Pikmin. They had Pikmin in the Park. They had Pikmin Bloom. They had Pikmin 3 Deluxe. They had Pikmin 1 and 2. Shadow dropped a few weeks before Pikmin 4. That all led to, yes, Pikmin 4 having a very strong brand, and it's become the best-selling Pikmin game. We look at Donkey Kong. They had Donkey Kong in the movie. They had the Donkey Kong expansion. They had Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and they came out with Donkey Kong Bonanza. We look at Mario, like there's the Mario Lego sets, there's all the different Mario spin-offs, all the different games, there's the movie. We saw all these different things. We thought there would be a Galaxy 2 remastering for the 40th anniversary, and that's literally what was confirmed, right? So there is kind of like a little bit of a connection here as we observe with the different things that Nintendo does. And so there is a buildup is the main point, right? So when we see merchandising and different things like this, it leads us to think that they have some sort of plan here, right? We know that there's the live action Zelda movie coming out in early 2027. We've also seen Aonuma at a construction phase in for Super Nintendo World. Why would he be there? Because they're planning a Zelda expansion. Now that they're done with Donkey Kong, what's a likely next step for that? It's probably Zelda. It could possibly be Pokemon or Animal Crossing, but odds are, considering the history of Nintendo, probably Zelda, considering the popularity and how they had their first expansion was Donkey Kong. Zelda seems like the next step, especially with the movie. And so it's even more reason to think that they're going to want to have an anniversary title. We're getting one for the Mario Galaxy movie and Galaxy 1+2. But even like they had a mainline release following the prior Mario movie with Mario Wonder, right? So either before or afterwards, it makes sense to think there's going to be some kind of Zelda release. So you kind of have like all that sort of stuff that's kind of been happening, right? And those are just like interesting signs and connections, right? Well, the interviews are more than that. But also we have a rumor, right, that confirms the speculation. And I'm not talking about the Ocarina of Time HD stuff from Game Over Jesse, which, by the way, I want to get him on the channel at some point because I know he's come here on the live stream before and mentioned some things, and I want to talk to him about that because you may have heard something about that project, and I want to see if there's maybe a connection there because it actually might connect to what we're now hearing about of this Ocarina of Time remake rumor, not just theory, because Nash Weedle, who we've also documented all throughout the year, this year has been getting more and more and more and more and more things right. Like with the recent Nintendo Direct, there was the Virtual Boy stuff that he talked about coming to NSO, confirmed. Yoshi Mysterious Book, confirmed. The Talking Mario Wonder Flower with the new Mario Wonderlands, confirmed. Mario Wonder Switch 2 Edition, confirmed. The Resident Evil games, confirmed. We'll go back earlier to the year. Donkey Kong being in the first Switch 2 Direct instead of Mario, confirmed. Metroid Prime 4 having mouse controls, confirmed. Like the whole concept of Switch 2 Editions before that was announced, Nashville talked about that. That's been confirmed. Assassin's Creed Shadows is about to be confirmed. There's been all these different things. I think there was a recent Bethesda game that was confirmed. Oh, right, Indiana Jones, that came from Nashville. So, like, there's this kind of more and more stuff that he's just continually leaking that's getting correct, right? So it's just more and more reason to think, oh, he probably actually hears some things, right? And so he has heard about the Ocarina of Time remake, and he's talked about how a couple of years ago they went through a art style change, a redesign. And that's interesting because there were rumors for an Ocarina of Time HD many years ago. Maybe at one point they were just thinking, hey, we're going to maybe work on an HD version of Ocarina of Time for the Switch 1. But as things kind of panned out, they had never released it for Switch 1, and maybe they're like, hey, maybe we should just make this a more ambitious Switch 2 title, which might lead to the art style change. And when you also factor the movie that's coming out in early 2027, they likely want to position a game that's going to have that kind of anniversary pull with the 40th anniversary next year, but it's also going to be kind of something like Mario Wonder or Galaxy 1+2 that will get people more interested in the movie. Not saying it's going to be exactly like the movie, but there's going to be a lot of elements that would kind of excite people. So there's kind of like a lot of interesting dots that have been connecting. As more time progresses, more evidence seems to present itself. Like recently, actually, this is not confirmed yet, right? But it's coming from a place where a lot of things have been confirmed, and that's I forget the name of it. I put out a video about it like a couple weeks ago, but it basically there is a rumor about a new Lego release coming out in March, and Lego releases are consistently leaked and are accurate, right? That's what I'm saying here. These different Lego rumors pretty much always turn out to be true. And this one we're hearing about is for a Ocarina of Time specific Lego set of Link vs. Ganondorf coming out this March. So if that Lego set comes, there's like far less reason to kind of like at that point, that's not even like, oh, maybe it's just a coincidence. Like with the Deco Tree one that has the Deco Tree from Ocarina of Time, maybe you could just chalk that up to coincidence, right? But when you factor everything else, if we get another Lego set that's just about Ocarina of Time and not any other Zelda property, and that's kind of like the big Zelda Lego thing, it kind of fuels the whole thought process of Nintendo likes to do this cross promotion, this buildup of certain brands and series because they have a bigger plan for it in the not so distant future. So we'll see if that gets confirmed in a few months, but that's kind of like a very summed up, kind of scatterbrained explanation of where I pulled this Ocarina of Time stuff from. Yeah. I'm sure there's more that I missed, right? This is not a video where I've kind of gathered everything, but that's top of my head explanation of why I think it's happening. But feel free to poke holes or ask more questions. Sable MK, where did you get that Metroid Prime cardboard stand behind you? Cardboard? That's Samus. That's Samus. She's not cardboard. She's real. So I believe it was part of a GameStop. This is from the original Metroid Prime release in 2002, and so I think they had these at GameStop. A friend gave it to me. They found it and they gave it to me. So it was cool. So I kept it. That's it. Freddie, thanks for the positive compliments of my room. Appreciate you. I finally have a little bit more of a setup going here. I know I took a while to kind of get things kind of situated, but yeah, hopefully it looks a little bit more interesting now and more Metroid vibey, because as we're going to be talking a lot about Metroid Prime 4 as we get closer and closer to December. So yeah, I mean, right now this week it's been very Pokemon focused because Pokemon's coming out. We've had all the leaks, but my main focus for the rest of the year is probably gonna be Metroid. Like I'm still gonna probably do a few more Pokemon stuff. There's gonna be a lot of Zelda conversations I'm planning. Obviously, kind of depends on what the news is and what happens. I am planning a Fire Emblem video, but a lot of Metroid conversation is going to be my main focus, as I said. Kika Switch, what was your first ever Nintendo console? My first ever Nintendo console that was specifically so I can play, me and my brother, was the Nintendo 64. I'm a 90s child. However, technically, the first console that I played, that I have memory of playing, was the Super Nintendo. My dad had a Super Nintendo. I remember playing the Super Nintendo with him a little bit. I was very young then, like some of my first early memories, right? Like, I don't even know if I had full consciousness then, but I do remember having some memories. There were like flashes, right? I remember playing TMNT on the Super Nintendo. But in terms of me having like when I could like have like legitimate conversations, um, yeah, Mario 64, Nintendo 64. That's where it all started. Wooly Afton 1935 asks me, how does Ocarina hold up if it was released today in 2025? Like literally as is, no changes, no enhancements. Not well. It's a Nintendo 64 game. I think pretty much no Nintendo 64 game holds up well. Um, what I will say though is that where Ocarina of Time kind of shines, even by today's standards, is that it has a really the music still is great. The atmosphere of the game is great. It's that those elements I think are very cool. Like those are things that others like. It's just different. It's not like any other Zelda game today. It's just different from those perspectives. It is the game that pioneered Z targeting, centering the camera, locking onto enemies for third-person action adventure games. Like Ocarina of Time is a revolutionary title for that reason. Both Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time were pivotal in the whole video game industry getting a better handle on how to handle 3D games. They both made huge strides in that department. But as a result, there's a lot of things we've learned since then. So they haven't aged as gracefully. And also, Nintendo 64 games just visually don't hold up well because Nintendo 64 was just bad. Like it was great for the time, but you know, it was the first era of 3D consoles, essentially dedicated 3D consoles. Some people still play it and think it's great. You can play Ocarina of Time 3D, which has a lot of quality of life updates on Nintendo 3DS, and you know, it's better, right? But I definitely think that if they remake this, which I do believe they are, we're talking about something that it's going to need some significant changes. There's actually something I saw that I may cover tomorrow that may speak more to this idea of like Ocarina of Time seeing substantial changes from a gameplay perspective. But I have to look into it, so I'm not even sure I'm going to talk about it. I still have to kind of do some research on it and really do a deeper dive. Curbstar Lowell, I'm glad you love the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you. See, I have a few super chats here, so let's get to those. First super chats of the night. Here, Kronos Tin Man 1. Thank you for the super chat. My favorite part of the leak, which I kind of already guessed, is Generation 10 is going to be switched to exclusive. Yeah, so this is about Pokemon now, right? Yes, we are hearing that the next generation of Pokemon, Generation 10, the 10th generation, next year for the 30th anniversary for Pokemon, 2026, it's going to be exclusive. Excuse me. It's going to be exclusive for Nintendo Switch 2. And that is kind of crazy to think about, considering the history of mainline Pokemon releases. They usually take quite a while before they do that. In fact, let me see if I can pull up something here just to kind of take a closer look. History of mainline. I'm just doing a quick Google search. Pokemon releases. By the way, guys, if you'd like to stream, comment, super helpful. If we can get us to over 100 people watching concurrently, that'd be great. We're at 67 right now. Haven't been streaming lately, so streaming numbers are definitely like at 50%. But yeah, so your support would mean a lot. List of games by release date. Okay, Bulbapedia. Oh, that has all the spin-offs. I can't do that. This is easier. Okay, let's do a quick little screen share here. It's just Wikipedia, right? Can you guys see this? Yes, you guys can see this. So, all right. So, if I'm not mistaken, Game Boy Advance came out in 2001, right? It was not 2000. No, nothing. Yeah, it was Game Boy Advances came out in 2001 at the same year as the GameCube, right? Pretty sure. Yes, Game Boy Advance came out 2001. So back then, they actually made an exclusive Pokemon game to come out just a year later. So in this instance, they were actually pretty quick. They just waited till the second year. Nintendo DS actually came out holiday 2004. So they waited 2 years to put out Diamond and Pearl. It might be like a year and a half because I think Diamond and Pearl came out like halfway through the year. Also back then, it wasn't like worldwide releases. Let's see. Diamond and Pearl came out actually September 28, 2006. So fairly late, right? So I think it's safe to say about 2 years they waited here. So that was a little bit longer, right? But then Pokemon Black and White came out 2010. This is a new generation of Pokemon, right? This you could play on your 3DS, but it was actually a DS title. And the 3DS came out in 2010, right? Right? Why am I so confused with my release dates? I'm pretty sure. No, I'm wrong. That's why. Because I'm wrong. I'm not right. That's why I'm like I wasn't sure. All right, so the 3DS actually came out February 2011. So it made sense for Black and White to not, be on it, but like it came out like just months before, right? So that was kind of an interesting thing. Like you could play Black and White on the 3DS, and it was an interesting kind of thing to put it in there. But no. However, given the 3DS came out in 2011, we had to wait till early 2011, by the way. X and Y came out late 2013, so this is more than a 2.5-year gap before getting a proper 3DS Pokemon entry, right? Like they could have waited for Black and White, they didn't. They made sure to release it as a DS title. They didn't care. So as we can see here, like as the generations continue, like they're more and more willing to like just wait a few years before they put out an exclusive Pokemon game for the next generation console. So there was nothing after 3DS, right? I mean, there is. It's the Switch. Switch came out in 2017. And actually, they did put out a Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in 2018. Not the next generation, but, something. So, I mean, looking it through, right, the more recent generations, excluding the Switch era and excluding the first era, they usually wait at least 2 years, right? And I think some of that just comes down to when the generation is going to happen. Like they're not going to push back the generation, but a year, or I guess a year and a half, right? Because the Switch 2 came out in June. It's not. It doesn't seem like that much of a stretch, but it is gonna. But it wasn't guaranteed either. So, and it's still not guaranteed. Just for the record, right? Still not guaranteed, but at least, we have this leak that shows that that's the current plan. Hopefully it doesn't change. Oh, hold on. I will, we may have a guest after all. Maybe. I will, I'll send him this and we'll see what happens. Yeah, bro, if you can hear me, I'm going to send you the link now. You jump in when it's comfortable for you. Not going to be on for very long because I'm hungry, but I'll still probably going for another 45 minutes to an hour. So, and with you on, I know how this goes. I'll get distracted. Anyway, yeah. So still a big deal though. It's a big deal. The Generation 10 is going to be a Switch 2 exclusive according to the leaks at least. And we're seeing so many crazy things. I can't share anything because I don't know. Nintendo, listen, the ninjas will like bust through. I was actually surprised that they blocked my video yesterday because I didn't show I showed a couple things, to be clear, but I didn't show any of the documents from the leaks. I didn't show any of that stuff. There was an image that I shared that we weren't even 100% sure. Like, some people were debating if it was even like a part of the leak. That was very obscured, low resolution of Luminion underwater. Like, you could barely tell. I didn't think that would be an issue, and it wasn't. That's not what was claimed. They actually claimed like the first like this like the first 5 minutes of the video where I was just talking about how good Legends ZA was, but there's a little bit there. And that's kind of the weird thing, that they just kind of did like a blanket 5-minute claim of like a 17-minute video. It wasn't, that's just a specific part where I talked about Feraligatr. And there's like, basically there's a leak of the Mega Feraligatr, right? And I'm not going to show that here. But I had saw what I thought was an artistic recreation of Mega Feraligatr's animations. In other words, not internal Nintendo stuff, just a representation of it. That's what I thought. And it still might be, not sure. I'm going to double check. But that's what I think they probably were targeting. And I thought it was okay. Wasn't. They took down the video. Today's video, I summarized that stuff and talked about all the other new leaks that came out afterwards. So anyway, yeah, Gen 10... a lot of crazy leaks, a lot of exciting stuff. Did I send the right link to the right person? Okay, I did. Cool. Yeah, like, there's some insane things for those who haven't like been paying attention. Like, the game is gonna have a new graphics engine. We saw some footage of it being tested, and it's far more advanced than the current Pokemon games. With it being a Switch 2 exclusive, that makes it easier for them to shoot higher there. Like, they have like wind simulations, they have wave simulations, which would make sense because the games are supposedly going to be titled Wind and Wave. The legendaries are based off that. There's gonna be a focus on like more weather mechanics with the battle system. There's going to be, this is the part that's really crazy. Supposedly like procedural generation of caves and islands. So there's going to be kind of like almost like infinite infinite like areas to explore. So this has been done before. We've seen it. It's popularized by No Man's Sky and its successor, Light No Fire. So there's like infinite worlds to explore or something like that in No Man's Sky. I haven't actually played No Man's Sky, and I know of it. So, you know, to see like Game Freak's going to try and do something like that suggests that we're going to have like a big expansive environment. And there's also talk of there being a focus on survival and rescuing Pokemon and interacting with the environment, and there being like these thick, dense jungles with details. Like there's a picture that's conceptual. It's not actually how the game is going to look, although maybe it'll come close with it being a Switch 2 title. And it kind of looks like a better looking version of Donkey Kong Bonanza on DK Isle, but with Pokemon, which is pretty crazy. That the Bonanza looks pretty good, but imagine a Bonanza with like fully open world, with procedurally generated environments, and there's Pokemon all throughout doing different stuff like that. That's crazy. Now the thing about Bonanza is that Bonanza looks good, but Bonanza looks good. And it has all of the voxel tech where everything's destructible. So actually thinking about it from that perspective, you know, if the environment's not destructible, but you have Pokemon that you can interact with and a slightly more detailed environment, a little bit more expansive, you know, there's trade-offs, right? Like, seems maybe doable when you think about it from that perspective. Like, obviously, like the destruction is demanding, so they have to dial it back a little bit with Bonanza. Bonanza is an early Switch 2 title. It started off as a Switch 1 title. Like, I'm sure they could make a game that's even, when I say they, I don't mean Game Freak specifically. I mean just like some of Nintendo's best developers could make a game that's even more impressive from a technical perspective than Bonanza. But I'm just saying, if something like Bonanza is possible, considering what we've seen from the leaks, in theory, they should be able to pull off what they're aiming for with Generation 10 on Switch 2. And I'm only saying this with hesitance because, I mean, it's Game Freak, and Game Freak hasn't had a history, at least during the Switch era, of really putting out some impressive stuff. And, you know, and I think that's actually an interesting kind of thing to kind of tangent off to. Because you look at Pokemon Sun and Moon, actually one of the more ambitious, and by extension also Ultra Sun and Moon, one of the more ambitious Nintendo 3DS titles. Pokemon Black and White, well, I don't. Maybe Pokemon Black and White I wouldn't say is an ambition. The thing is, that's Nintendo DS, right? Which has like basically like N64 level visuals, sort of. There's some good things about it, some bad things about it. The Black and White had a really cool style. That's what I'm gonna say. Main point is that Game Freak on some of Nintendo's handhelds has actually put out some fairly impressive games for the hardware. And we also see this project that Game Freak is working on that's not a Nintendo project, Beast of Reincarnation, that looks way better than anything Game Freak has done in the past, right? So, like, theoretically, they can create something of high fidelity. It's just a question. The question is, will they? I think they can. And what I think a lot of people don't consider is that, well, yeah, one, their budget's not as high as maybe it should be, right? That's a whole other conversation. But the Pokemon games, the mainline ones, are balancing too much. You have thousands of Pokemon to kind of think about and consider. There's all the RPG mechanics that they're continually stacking upon. There's all the multiplayer elements. There's the online elements. There's the competitive element, how that's all impacted, right? There's creating these games to appeal to a large audience. So they still have to kind of cater to the fan that's been around for a long time, the competitive players, the hardcore, but also the casual. And so trying to do all these different things and still make a good RPG almost every single year with, a modest team and a modest budget, something's got to give. And so what has happened? We've seen some disasters like with Scarlet and Violet. Good game, but a lot of technical issues because it probably needed another year in the oven. But since then, they took a year off, right? We are seeing that now they're relying a little bit more on DLC now as kind of to gap some of the years as opposed to creating a whole other version, which would take more effort. And they've also put out Pokemon Champions, or they're putting out Pokemon Champions, and with that, they can now use that to focus on more of the competitive element. So hopefully they don't have to focus that much on it for their mainline releases, giving them a little bit more license, a little bit more freedom, a little bit more ability to maybe make a better game with more time. And actually, another big thing about the leak that some people are probably not paying attention enough to is that the leak also includes the release plan, or like the planned year of release for Generation 11, and that's 2030. And that's actually huge because it's 4 years after when Gen 10's coming out, meaning that they may simply be moving on to having a 4-year cycle as opposed to 3, which that's a significant extra amount of time there, right? You're used to having 3, right? You're getting a whole other extra year there, right? That's a 33% increase in time. So that's definitely going to make it a lot easier for them to put out a little bit more polish for their games. So there's a lot of reason to be excited about this for sure. But I'm going to leave it at that for now until you guys bring up more questions about it, because I could go on forever, right? And I'm just interacting with you guys in the chat, so we'll sort of see what happens. Attack the Backlog with the super chat, who may be showing up. Hey man, sorry your message. Sorry I was playing Chronos. You've been playing Chronos a lot. I want to ask you about it. I'm addicted. I can jump on after Pokemon segment if still needed. Bro, I would love to have you on. So I think you try to connect. It seems like you're having some connection issues, but you sort that out. If you can make it, great. I'd love to chat with you. Also, Having Hope, been a member for 32 months. The end of the year is going to be hype. Age of Imprisonment next month, and Metroid Prime 4 in December. Yes. We're kind of like in an interesting period, right? Like I'm still playing the Mario Galaxy remaster bundle, right? But Pokemon's coming out like what? Today's Tuesday, like in almost a little over 24 hours, like very soon. And then after that, it's going to be Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment just 2 weeks later, right? At the end of this month, or at the beginning of next month, right? We're halfway through the month already almost. And then a couple weeks after that, it's Kirby Air Riders. And then a couple weeks after that, it's Metroid Prime Beyond. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So like that, we got stuff, right? And then after After, what's after? After is 2026, Zelda's 40th anniversary. So, yeah. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if the video is working. All right. Attack the Backlog's trying to get on. He's working on some stuff. But coming back to the live chat. Where was I? Okay. I see. Oh, the chat jumped. I got lost. Oh, no. Hello there, Super Chris. Hello there, Lucas Barron. Marcos Martinso. The motorcycle angle in Metroid Prime 4 makes me remember of a great space alien animation called Scavenger's Reign. I don't know of that, but it sounds interesting. What happens if I Google that? Is it live stream appropriate? I don't know. Scavenger's Reign. Huh. You say is this like a show on HBO? Yeah, I'm not gonna play it because it's a whole show thing. I don't want to get claimed for that. I wasn't sure what it was, but it looks neat. Alrighty. Where was I? Okay. Connor asks me, "Hey Andres, how's it going? So in 2 days it's going to be my birthday. Happy birthday!" I think I'm gonna get Kirby Air Ride on GameCube so then I can play it before Kirby Air Ride is released. That's a great idea. If you have access to a functioning GameCube and you can play OG Kirby Air Ride, more power to you. I'm jealous actually. Hello there, Legend of Barnash. Or I'm sorry, I'm getting old. It's getting harder for me to read. I know I pronounced the name wrong. I added a consonant. Legend of Barhash. There we go. How are you? Yeah. Oh, great animation. Your PC crashed. But, my PC used to crash a lot until I basically replaced everything inside of it. That was making editing videos a real problem. Gray Animation asks, do you think it's likely that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 will get a remaster? So if we're getting a remaster of Prime 2 and 3, I think it would be very similar to what we just got for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And I think it would be something that would be made available very soon, like end of this month, early next month, sometime around the airing, if not literally being shadow dropped during the airing of the day of the airing of the Metroid Prime 4 Direct. So, yeah. Yeah. I think that... Sorry, I got sidetracked. Basically, if we don't get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 after this Prime 4 Direct, if there even is a Prime 4 Direct, then, like, if we don't get one before Prime 4 comes out, basically, within the next month, like, this is it. This next month here, if Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are not announced, then it's not happening. I guess if we're within 2 weeks, so a little bit over a month, technically, right? But, like, whatever happens first, if we're within 2 weeks of release of Prime 4 or a Metroid Prime 4 Direct, whatever happens first, once we get to that point and still nothing's been announced for Prime 2 and 3, it is not happening anytime soon. Yeah, that's where I draw the line. But I also don't want to say like I think it's unlikely or anything like that. I just think that it basically comes down to this. It's either been saved to come out shortly before the release of Prime 4, or it hasn't. It's one or the other, right? And so that's where I kind of stand with that. It actually reminds me a little bit of the point I've made with the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which we've been waiting many years for. The interesting thing about that one, though, is that supposedly there are some 40th anniversary plans. If Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD are going to happen, the HD versions, right? Because I know we have Wind Waker on NSO. If they are going to happen, they would need to happen. I mean, they would happen, I would think, next year for the 40th anniversary. That would make sense. Nintendo would be saving them for maybe as a 40th anniversary thing, very similar to how Nintendo saved Galaxy 2 all the way up until this 40th anniversary thing, right? But if we go through the 40th anniversary of Zelda next year and nothing's announced, I 100%, not 99, I 100% give up on Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, unless like something happens to suggest otherwise. But there won't be, because they're not going to happen. Maybe a remake of these games someday, but many years from now. That's my thought process on that. So I haven't lost hope for Prime 2 and 3, just for the record. All right, let's see. Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Why can't you see me, though? That's weird. Oh, hold on. I know why. I think I know why. Give me a sec.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, you're on that one. Sorry, one sec, bro. I don't know if you can see me. I'm just checking something.
I saw your icon, so I just assumed that was it, but all good.
Let me see.
Guys, this is Attack the Backlog. He has his own YouTube channel. Talks about Nintendo as well.
There you go. Sorry, dude. Oh my god, had like crazy PC issues going on.
Oh, no, it's all good. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for the invite. I was like in the middle of screaming during Chronos, and I saw your message, so I was like, I needed the break.
I need a break from all this trauma.
Yeah, so I was losing like heart lives.
My god.
So I'm gonna go and have a nice chat instead. Save myself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna scare you too much this time. So. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you, my friend. I'm good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Just a long day at work, and I've just been playing a lot of games. I've been playing a lot of one game. Just Chronos, but I'm addicted to it, man. It's so good. It's my favorite game on Switch too, like easily. It's not even close for me. I'm addicted. I don't know if it's because I love horror so much anyway, so it doesn't have to be the best horror game in the world, but I do think this is quite a special game. It's like, I don't know how much it's selling on Switch 2, and I get the feeling it's not selling an amazing on Switch 2, which is really, really sad for me, because it's such an amazing game. Like, I tell everyone who hasn't got it to go and play it. But it's a special game for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, good.
Cool. Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about it. It's a lot to play right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot. It doesn't help that it's one of the games on keycard, so that's already something against it. Like you said, there's other games coming out. It's quite expensive. It's a full price game.
I mean, it's a good game though.
It's so good, man. Like, I'm telling you, like, the story is amazing. The atmosphere is just like, it's not even that it's got loads of jump scares.
Playing it on Switch 2?
I'm playing on Switch 2, and the port is so good. I mean, I thought the port was pretty good even when it came out, like visually and stuff, but they've done like 2 or 3 patches now, and they've definitely, like, you can see a visual upgrade in it for sure. And in the frame rate, the movement's better, the textures look like, I've seen a lot of comparisons. I think Super Metal Dave did one the other day where he's comparing next to the PS5 version, and it's like, it just looks incredible, man. But it's like the atmosphere, you're just walking around, it's nothing even jumping out, but it's like it reminds me of Alien Isolation, where you think something's going to jump out constantly, so you're just crawling, you don't even want to run in the game, and it does that Resident Evil thing of barely giving you enough ammo ever. So it's like you pick up 2 bullets and you're like, if something jumps out now, like, there's no way I'm going to have enough ammo to kill it, so I'm going to have to run, So that is awesome. It's awesome. Like, I've been doing like 6-hour streams of it and stuff. Like, I can't get enough of it. But yeah. But all good.
as we were kind of talking about that, I was kind of thinking it's interesting, right? Like we look at like Switch 2 graphics comparisons, right? And like when we're like, oh man, it looks almost as good as the other versions, we're like, yeah, right. But then we look at like the graphics comparisons of Pokemon Legends ZA versus the Switch 1 version versus Switch 2 edition. We're like, oh, it only, yeah, the Switch 2 version looks better, but it's kind of like the Switch 1 version looks almost as good.
Yeah,
What do
Game
they do?
Freak.
Yeah.
Game Freak. But it's funny you say that, because now it's like, when this was happening on the Switch 1, like, you know, we had like different varying degrees of ports and just games graphically. You could get away with the argument that, well, look, the Switch 1 is just hard to develop for in terms of getting the game looking really, really good, like next gen. But it's like now, like, no one's got that excuse anymore when you're seeing stuff like Chronos, when you're seeing stuff like Resident Evil Requiem and the way that looks, and
That's
running at 60.
I was blown away.
In portable mode. We're not even seeing it docked. So it's like, I don't think anyone's got any excuse anymore for a bad port, for a game that runs badly, for a game that looks bad. I don't think anyone's got an excuse with the use of DLSS now. It's like you have zero excuses.
It's only going to get better as they continue to update DLSS and the dev kits get out there and they get more acquainted with the console. Like, I think we're just scratching the surface here, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is the mad thing. Like, I was saying to someone the other day, it's like we're in the first 6 months and we're seeing stuff like Resident Evil Requiem. It's like, we won't see what this machine can do for like 3 or 4 years. Like, we're seeing Requiem now, like on the PS5, and it's only now that current gen consoles are really getting stuff pushed out of it. So like on the Switch 2, I can only even imagine what the next Zelda looks like. You know, I can't even imagine. But it's super exciting, man. It's so exciting.
Yeah. On that note of Zelda, so I kind of mentioned it earlier. Because I know you've spoken to Nash Weedle about the Ocarina of Time remake rumor.
Yeah, all the time. I try and get stuff out of him all the time.
Right, it's like, hey.
I wake up in the morning, it's like, morning, Ocarina?
Yeah. And something interesting. Have you heard of Ocarina of Time HD?
Years ago.
Years ago,
there was a
rumor of that, right? It came from at least from Game Over Jesse.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting from a timeline perspective because it didn't happen, right? But then we know that Nash Wheeler heard that a couple of years ago they went through a art style change for this Ocarina of Time remake, right?
Yeah.
So is it possible that those are connected? Is it possible that the Ocarina of Time HD rumor was based in truth? There was a project, but they realized it wasn't going to come out on Switch 1, so they changed directions. And maybe that's what Nash Weedle heard. They changed the art style. And it's more of like a full-blown ambitious remake.
Yeah, I think so. I think like after the 3DS, what do you call it, remaster, I guess. I think that was always the plan, to do like a proper HD version. And I think you're right. I think for whatever reason, things got delayed, or at some point they decided to change not just direction, but where they were going to actually release it. And I think at some point when they were doing Breath of the Wild, maybe that made the thing, well, actually, this is the direction we're going in now. So what should we do with the remake? And maybe, maybe a lot of things just changed in that time. But I always saw it as a natural evolution from the Ocarina 3DS to the rumors of the HD version. And I always imagined that somewhere along the line, that's how it evolved into something a bit more ambitious with a visual redesign. And maybe now, with all the features that it could use, maybe on the Switch 2 if it does. So I always saw it as something connected, something that's just evolved naturally over years. Because there's loads of stuff that they have that do you remember like Breath of the Wild, like all the stuff they had before that didn't make it into the game? They had like the UFOs in the sky and stuff like that, and they had a bunch of stuff. I always kind of saw it something kind of similar, where it was just a game that evolved and it got a lot more ambitious as time went by. And maybe they were even aware of or started thinking about the 40th anniversary, and maybe they started kind of pointing towards that, and maybe that made them think, well, actually, okay, we probably should do something a lot more ambitious. And it wouldn't even surprise me if when they started designing the Switch 2, maybe they looked at some of the features and maybe they thought maybe they can incorporate it into it. I hope they don't. I'm thinking straight with my head, will they use something like the camera? Will they start using the features? Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they keep it just like traditional remake. But yeah, for sure. I definitely see it, and I think you're right. I think that's probably where Nash. Because I think the time might even align with when he heard about this kind of more ambitious redesign, or at least they were experimenting with the look of the game, and maybe they were deciding how far to go. Maybe they don't want to touch it too much. And
it's giving me a little bit of the vibes of like how we had heard about the canceled Activision Donkey Kong project, right? And then not too much long later, we heard that the Odyssey team was working on Donkey Kong, right? And then we hear about the Donkey Kong Park, and we're like, oh, the Donkey Kong Park's taking so long. Before you know it, Switch 2 comes out, Donkey Kong Park comes out. Oh, here's Bonanza, comes out 2 months later, or a month later. Like, it all kind of came together. Actually, shout outs to friend of the channel, Kiwi Talks, has his own YouTube channel, does amazing interviews.
I've got to message him back as well. I haven't forgotten Kiwi, because he's messaged me, and I'm going to message you back after this our chat here, because I've been looking at stuff. He sent me a message and I've been looking into it, so I'm going to message you ASAP. Kiwi, super nice guy, awesome channel. You're right, awesome channel
for sure.
I just saw before I jumped on, he put up a post like 6 hours ago on X. I need to watch it afterwards, but it was things that were cut out of Metroid Prime 3, I think.
He collected a lot of like the things that have been mentioned in his different Retro Studios interviews, right? Like there's some really cool stuff there.
It looks amazing. So I'm gonna go check that out afterwards. So people should definitely check that out. It looks really interesting.
It is. But Kiwi here says an Ocarina of Time remake from the ground up would be very costly and resource intensive. I'd expect Ocarina of Time 3D version, but HD. And I go, ooh, I hope not. Oh, I hope not.
Came in here, poured cold water all over the place.
Yeah, I hope not.
I take back everything I said about him. No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we look at Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, right? Like, we kind of hoped that the Galaxy 2 remaster was more ambitious, and it wasn't, but it also wasn't as bad as we thought either, right?
Yeah.
Like, because when we see the first, like, they show us just the Switch 1 version of Galaxy 2, right? And like, oh, it looks better, but does it look that much better? No.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, no.
And he is right. Are pretty nice though. Like as you play the game, like it looks nice. Like I think the game actually holds up really well. So when you account for the higher resolution, especially at 4K, and then a lot of the textures that have been redone. There's a lot of parts where you're like, oh, this just looks like a good Mario game, right? You're not thinking, oh, this was a Wii game most of the time. I mean, if you look up like close up at Mario, like if you have zoomed in images, you can see that Mario's blocky. But like in motion, when you're like sitting back on your in your living room just playing the game, you're not thinking, oh man, that's a low like poly version of Mario. You're like, oh, that's just Mario, and it's colorful and vibrant, and ooh, look at that metallic texture. Ooh, look at that boss. It just looks cool, right?
Yeah, so, but like he is right in the fact that I always have this thing in the back of my head, when we get excited about, like with the 35 year of Mario in the first place, and we knew that Galaxy was going to come out on 64 and whatever. And, a lot of people, and I was kind of disappointed with how little Nintendo did to those games. I expected a lot more, especially when you consider like how Sega treats it's like Sonic anniversaries, right? And they go full out and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so like when I'm hearing and like I'm seeing, Kiwi's comment there, and I remember, talking to Nash about, this visual redesign, and in my head I remember thinking, oh, but it is Nintendo. Like, will they go that full out? And like, I don't doubt at all what he's been told and what he knows, and I have no doubt there will be some kind of visual redesign. But I wonder if it will be as revolutionary as we think, or it would just be a little touch up.
Right, because he hasn't seen it either, right? Someone just tells him. So
exactly.
Like, what is that?
Exactly.
There's room for interpretation there.
I think
what I will.
Sorry.
What else? I'll say this, right? Like visually, like if it's like a Metroid Prime remastered thing, that would be amazing. But to Kiwi Talk's point, that would be very expensive. Yeah. However, I also think that a game that would probably make that budget worthwhile would be Ocarina of Time. Like this would be something that would probably sell over 10 million copies.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. Right, like depending on to what I mean, dare I say, it could even maybe reach 20+ million copies someday. If it has that evergreen pull. So I mean, we'll see, right? I'll say that while there's a lot of evidence, in my opinion, that there is an Ocarina of Time project in the works, I think it's overwhelming evidence. There isn't a lot of evidence to say what kind of project it is, just that there is an Ocarina of Time project. So,
I would say if it was, I don't know, like a 3DS Ocarina of Time, but in HD. I feel like that would have been out by now, or you know what I mean. It would have been a lot quicker than, because we've heard about this for years now. Like they've been working on this in some way, form, or shape for a long while, and I feel like if that's what it was,
gives me hope.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Because I think otherwise, if it was just that, they could have released that on the Switch, right? They could have done it for the 35th anniversary. They could have done it for that if it was just going to be that. But I don't know.
But what's interesting, right? Since we're kind of piggybacking off of Kiwi Talk's point here, because Kiwi has also talked about with Metroid Prime 4, extremely expensive game, right? But also there's more to it than just the sales of the game. It brings in other people, but also they established something pretty good with Prime 4. They've already kind of set the foundation to make Prime 5. It's not going to be as hard to make Prime 5 now, right? And so I kind of bring up some of this stuff because, if they are working on, say, a more ambitious remake of Ocarina of Time, that it wouldn't just have to be about the success of that one game. It could be bigger than that. From several perspectives, there could be merchandising, as we've which is part of the theory, right? You have the live action Zelda movie coming out in 2027.
I was going to say,
we're hearing about another Ocarina of Time themed Lego set coming out in March, not confirmed yet, but these Lego set leaks tend to be true.
Yep.
So if there's a game, the game helps to fuel the sales of the movie, the merchandise, and vice versa.
And the theme park. Yeah.
And the theme park, right? So it could all kind of benefit each other. So if there is an ambitious budget here, it wouldn't just be the sales of the game, but also all these other things that would make it more worthwhile. But then on top of that, kind of looking at what they did with Wind Waker HD back on the Wii U, it wasn't just about the Wind Waker HD project. It was also a good stepping stone for development for Zelda U, Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
So this project could also be a stepping stone to get the Zelda team more acquainted with Switch 2 hardware for that next actual new open-air Zelda game.
Yeah.
So, I think there's still hope, and I think there's actually a lot of reason to think that it could be worthwhile, but I still think, it is a good point that we don't know for sure what it's going to be. So, it's good to keep it in mind.
Do you imagine completely reworked dungeons and more?
That's the dream.
Oh,
it's the
dream. Oh my god, with orchestral Gerudo Valley and oh my god,
yeah.
I would love that. Like you said, if they, because that's the thing. I assume. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Now I said it out loud. I'm not sure, but I guess in my head I always imagined that the next Zelda would have a different art style anyway. The next mainland 3D Zelda would have
before Breath and Tears. That was annoying.
It always right. So I imagine that. So I don't know. I wonder if, I don't think they would, but it just crossed my mind. I wonder if they aligned the art style of whatever the art style in Ocarina remake would
Breath
be,
of the Wild style Ocarina of Time,
or align it to whatever art style they go into next for after, for whatever the next main line. Assuming it's similar-ish, to that of Ocarina as it is now. But yeah, I don't know. But then that's the other thing. When do they release it? I mean, we're not going to get a mainline Zelda for a while, right? For a while. So
that's why I think we need something like this.
100%. 100%. I think you're right. It's all aligning perfectly. It's like you said, the theme park. We've seen Miyamoto and Onuma at the theme park. The movie. It just all aligns. The anniversary. It's just too perfect that surely even Nintendo.
To be clear, this doesn't mean next year, right?
No,
it could be next year.
It could be.
I pray it's next year. It makes sense for next year, but also be 2027.
Yeah. And I think I think that's almost more
past 2027. I don't think it makes that much sense anymore, because the idea would be it's either for the 40th anniversary or it's to follow up the hype of the Zelda movie, which would be boosted by other 40th anniversary things.
Yeah.
that's what it would be. By that point, from a marketing perspective, it's kind of like, all right, it's just an exciting Zelda game, which, you know, it could happen, but
Yeah.
you know, once we get to 2028, like at that point, we should be talking about, all right, well, it's time to show off the next Zelda. Like, the next
Exactly.
new one.
But like, look, he's killing us again in the chat, Kiwi. He's pouring more cold water on this. What's he saying? He goes, I'd love to be wrong, but it would take a team 4 or so years to make Ocarina of Time remake. The Zelda team wouldn't be able to do it. They are too busy with the next entry. He's killing me. He's breaking my heart.
The thing is, though, right? Like, we don't know who's working on what.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know who the team is.
Right?
Well, I think,
like, I mean,
Nash
like,
said it was the main. I think Nash said it was the team, right? Like the Zelda team.
I don't know if he told anything different, but I remember listening to that podcast, and he said that it's Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever Nintendo means. He didn't. I don't think he stated specifically it was EPD.
No, because I think I asked him whether it would be Grezzo or anyone like a third party team doing it, and he's like, no, Nintendo, it's Nintendo. Yeah, he was like quite firm about that. Yeah. So, but you know, I believe it. I believe it.
I also think about, like, we've heard about this project for years, right? But then we also think about, like, Tears of the Kingdom took a very, very long time to come out. A very, very long time. Like, so Breath of the Wild came out March 2017. They finished all the DLC in 2017, right? We knew they were already working on the next. There were interviews in 2017 said they were already, like, thinking about the next Zelda, right? They were already working on it to some extent, right? So, to what extent we don't know, but they were to some extent, right? It's always something, right? Like, they're always working on Zelda. But they announced the next Zelda pretty soon.
Yeah,
summer 2019. They announced it.
Yeah,
and we're like, oh, it has the same art style. It's a direct sequel. Let's go. This is gonna be quick, right? It's gonna be like Majora's Mask. It's coming out. It's coming out quick. No, not at all. But like, those are all reasons to think it would have a shorter dev cycle, but it ended up having a longer one.
Yeah.
So,
and I imagine this one's going to be like, people forget, like, not Tears, but Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game, which is like, it's insane to think, you know, that it's a Wii U game. Kind of like how insane, you know, how amazing Metroid looks, and it's like, people forget that's a Switch game, Switch 1 game, you know, which is crazy. And so, like, whatever they got cooking now, like, they were using the framework of Breath of the Wild when they made Tears, but it's like, you'd imagine whatever they're making now is going to be so ambitious. Like, it'll probably be the most ambitious game we see on the Switch 2, that I can't even imagine how long it will take, how many hundreds of people will be working on it, whether, like, it's obviously going to have, you know, brand new ideas, like original ideas, maybe ideas we've never seen in a game before. And that stuff, like, you know, it takes years and years. And like, I think with Breath, right, they took breaks every so often, didn't they? So they could all replay test it and, you know, make sure there's no bugs. And it's that kind of level of care that it just means. That's why I always I try to pretend it doesn't even exist, you know, because I don't want to keep thinking about it. I just, like, it will appear when it will appear.
What sucked about the Breath of the Wild 2 teaser is that I was ready to wait years. I was like, it was not on my mind. I was like, all right, I'm not even thinking about Zelda. I'm just happy with Smashed, right? They confirmed Banjo. Dreams already been made, right? And they're like, oh no. Oh no. We're giving you hope. And we're giving you hysterical hype.
Yeah. I think yours were the reactions I saw actually when they came on. I think I happened to be watching on your channel. I remember you went nuts like when they showed. I remember your reaction so well. It was amazing.
Yeah. So you know, the
thing is, if you could choose, do you prefer the new Zeldas, the Breath of the Wild and Tears open air, or do you prefer the old school Ocarina, Twilight, Wind Waker style?
I think that we've yet to see the best Zelda game. And what I mean by that is, obviously they're always going to be looking to improve, right? There's never going to be a greatest Zelda game ever. I mean, there will be, but then there will be another one eventually, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something. But what I guess what I'm trying to say is that I see the direction the Zelda team is headed in, and I think they're really still just scratching the surface with this current Zelda formula. But I think that with Breath of the Wild, since it was their first foray into this direction, they intentionally didn't do certain things from prior Zelda games, right? Because that was the whole part of that vision. And then Tears of the Kingdom was a direct sequel of that, so they could only do so much. But even with Tears of the Kingdom, they still did incorporate some more traditional Zelda elements. Like they brought in the thematic dungeons, for example. They had a little bit more of the bombastic, unique boss fights. So I did see that they were bringing in a little bit more of that. And I think in terms of a tools setup, there was a little bit more of that too. Still, the open air style. Main point I'm making here is that I feel that with the next Zelda game, it is going to be a little bit more of a happy marriage. And in fact, I'll say we even saw that with Echoes of Wisdom. So I expect with the next Zelda game, it will still be open air, right? It'll still be open world. But I expect that they will continue to find ways to tell a better story within that framework. And I think they're going to be more willing to incorporate prior Zelda concepts, in this post Breath of the Wild world. So yeah, I would say the next Zelda game, odds are, is going to at least have a few more elements that will acquiesce. So it'll make some people feel a little bit better about,
like I see where you're going. Yeah.
Not 100%. Like, don't never expect a Skyward Sword like Zelda game again, right? That's not happening. But there'll be some things,
that makes me happy though. Yeah, because I think for me, increasingly, I don't know whether more people feel like this, but and maybe that's reflected in the sales of Tears not matching Breath of the Wild, but I think for me, by the end of Tears, I started to miss the old Zeldas. Not entirely, but I think I got to the point where during Breath of the Wild, I was like, my God, I love the fact I can complete this puzzle 99 different ways. But then by the end of Tears, I kind of missed the idea or the feeling of being in a dungeon in Twilight, let's say, and trying to figure out a way to solve the puzzle that only has one solution, and trying to really find it. That's the thing. But I think I like that focus, and I think I started to miss it. And so in my head I was like, well, I think I just prefer the older Zeldas now. But listening to you talk just then, I like what you were saying. I think that'd be perfect.
I mean, I think some of the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom are very cool. I think the Lightning
Temple,
they
are. They're amazing.
The Lightning Temple is actually a really good. I think it's a really good dungeon.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Yeah.
So I want to see
and the boss fights. I liked.
Yeah, the boss fights were great.
Awesome.
So I think they were headed in a much better direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love the whole get to these 7 like terminals or whatever. I don't necessarily need that, but like with the Lightning Temple, there was phases to it.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. So I think they found something there, and I want them to expand on that. For sure. But to answer your question fully, I like when Breath of the Wild came out, it was the best thing ever. Right? And Tears of the Kingdom was a beautiful experience, but like now in hindsight, and I may change my opinion a couple years from now, like when Tears of the Kingdom came out, like I definitely kind of felt like, oh, this is like amazing, and I still do, but it just kind of had I feel like I've just played both these games so much.
Yeah.
I'm ready for something different.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But that different doesn't mean go back to Twilight Princess. That different means the next leap for Zelda, new art style, new world, new dungeons and challenges and enemies and story and all of that. It's just I'm ready for that next thing, right? So that's what I would hope, and I think honestly, as great as Tears of the Kingdom was, they probably would have been better off doing something more like Majora's Mask.
I completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. Absolutely. I was even fine waiting entirely and then not release anything, because I always did feel like the same art style and the same world. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, but, actually, they should do it like I think they should handle it like the way they From Software handled Elden Ring. You have Elden Ring, then you have a very like significant expansion quest that maybe even have its own separate physical release for if you want to, right? But it's basically it's a whole other world and adventure that's connected but separate, right?
Mm.
Or from soft, not from software,
Monolith. Yeah.
Monolith also does this with the
Yeah.
Xenoblade games, right? I think that's a better approach. I think that would have just been better. One, you kind of you shy away from the argument. Oh, this is just a an over glorified DLC, right? Which it was, because it started off DLC ideas. They told us that, right?
Yeah.
But I think in terms of giving us some so let me clarify. If Tears of the Kingdom was smaller scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was just DLC, it would have been nice, but it wouldn't have been great.
Yeah.
And so, they did a lot of really cool things, right? Which required it becoming its own game, which is fine. But what I mean is the simple fact that it takes place in the same world, like, that's cool. Like, I love seeing those changes, but I think just getting a new world to explore is the best thing, because Zelda at its root is about adventure, right? That's why. I mean, some people might have argued it's about puzzles and stuff, which there was a huge focus of that, but pre Breath of the Wild. But Breath of the Wild era Zelda is about adventure. That's the core element. So a big thing about adventure, though, is finding new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having a new environment. It's kind of key.
That's like the world is like almost the main character in a video game. That's what breathes life into the whole game, and so that's why I think maybe like when they showed it, maybe that's where a lot of people maybe weren't as excited. Maybe they had a little bit of fatigue, because I mean, I don't know anyone who just played Breath of the Wild for 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours. Like, most people I know played it for at least 100 hours, and 200 hours. And then so to get another world and knowing that to really experience it, you're going to have to spend another 100 to 200 hours. And like you said, if you're going to spend that much time, you want it to be in a brand new world with, that looks completely different, that has new areas to explore.
Yeah.
I know we got the underground, we got the Sky Islands, but yeah, I think had it been in a completely different world, I think it would have been that much more engrossing.
And I also think that while there were Sky Islands, there were not enough. And the depths I really enjoy, but most of it's very similar. There are some unique stuff to be found, but it's not enough, in my opinion.
No, I got bored of it quite quick. The idea, like, I remember the first time I went to the underground and I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I cannot believe you have the whole underground to explore. But like you said, like every 50 meters or so, you'll run into the same enemy, the same kind of landscape. It was all quite, very similar all the way around, which is the same. But the idea, but then that's why I say, like, starting now from scratch for the Switch 2, what they're going to be able to do, and who knows how long they've been working it already, but their ambitions they're going to be able to realize their ambitions. That's the exciting thing, rather than having to get cutbacks and really scale down any crazy ideas they might have had, especially in Breath of the Wild, as it was a Wii U game. Like, this time they're going to really have a good, I don't know what you'd say, but like a very good chance here to really realize their vision for this game. So, man, who knows? I'm so excited, man.
So
like
they're gonna really kind of get themselves ready as they wrap up this Ocarina of Time remake project.
Do you think they'll add? Because I was thinking about this, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the live action, we're gonna hear Link talk, presumably, and so do we hear Link talk in the next Zelda game? Do we hear Link talk in an Ocarina remake? Will there be voice acting in the Ocarina remake?
I mean, I feel like there should. If it's what we want it to be, the answer is yes.
Gotta talk at some point, right?
I assume no.
Do you think he's not going to? Do you think Mario's going to talk in the next Mario game? Now that we're so used to hearing him.
I mean, Mario always talks. He just doesn't talk a lot.
No, he says a few things, right?
Right, but he doesn't talk in the cutscene. He's like, oh no. Right.
But Link,
ravioli.
I I feel like Link has to. He has to a little bit now, right? Like he can't just be
in the movie
staring at Zelda while she's talking to her whole monologue.
no, in the movie he's gonna talk.
Oh yeah, in the movie he is. But I mean,
Yeah, the
that's
movie.
what I'm saying, right? Once we're used to hearing him talk for a whole movie, like he's gonna have to say something in the video game. Like he has to say something.
Well, in
other than
Wind
just sound
Waker,
effects.
he would say like "hi" or
Yeah.
"come on" or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
I don't
dungeons
know.
with Medley and Maker, he was like, "Hey, come on,
Yeah,
follow me," right?
Ah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hurdle that they're gonna have to.
At some point, man.
Yeah.
At some point, they're gonna have to like just band
I do think that they did a better job with the voice acting in Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild, because in Breath of the Wild, since Link was a mute, there is a lot of the voice acting was good, but the problem is when you're having a conversation with another person, but there's only one person talking, it's awkward, right?
They keep cutting back to him just staring.
Either have a monologue, or have a conversation where both parties are talking.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's one or the other. Now, with Tears of the Kingdom, it worked out really well because they're like, you know what? Let's have an amazing story.
Yeah.
But Link's just not going to be in it.
Yeah. You're right. That's what he did.
Right?
Yeah.
He's in the beginning, he's in the end.
Yeah.
And then you play his story.
Yeah.
Right? And that's great. But all the cutscenes with Princess Zelda, that's a different thing. It's separate. And it all works so well because you see all these really cool dramatic scenes, but that's because all the characters are allowed to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
you're right. I just saw someone in the chat. True Dash fan, I know. Hi, dude. He said Super Mario Sunshine had voices. I remember, but wasn't that the reason they stopped doing it? Because there was such a big backlash. Like I remember buying it when it came out on the GameCube, and
I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine, but I remember a lot of people complaining about it. Like a lot of people complained about it, and I thought, oh, is that why?
But also, Mario didn't really talk either in that.
That's when I read that comment, I was like, wait, did Mario? I remember Toad and Peach.
No,
Mario
Bowser Jr., Peach, what's the old Toad? They all talk.
Yeah.
Right. There was even like a judge that talked, right? Like there's
but Mario
I think there was even guards that talked. Like there was voice acting.
Loads. Yeah, there was loads. Yeah.
Man, Mario Sunshine's fire.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, what's funny is that whenever I think about Mario Sunshine, I also think of Metroid Prime because I got them both at the same time for GameCube in 2002. Wow. So it's like a huge like nostalgia wave. Like all that rushes to me. Best time, bro. Best time.
Man, Metroid Prime. Oh, Metroid Prime. Yeah, incredible. GameCube, incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Best console.
It truly is. Well, sort of.
I think because I heard you. I think when I was waiting to come on, I heard you talking about the N64, and you're like, I think it's aged badly. I was like, I think the N64. I think it might still be my favorite Nintendo console. I always fight between the N64 and GameCube, but there's something about the N64.
Well, the N64 was more revolutionary.
Yeah.
And when it was out, it was incredible.
I know. I get what you say about it. It's the games that generation of games definitely.
I mean, the thing is, like, they need to be reworked, right? If you just kind of straight bring them over.
A lot of that blur effect.
They're like disgusting, right?
They are. They were blurry as hell. Yeah.
Blurry, dirty, right?
Yeah.
Dirty, I feel like is a good descriptor for a lot of the textures. Like it's just kind of like a mess on the wall. Texture. Right.
But it had it was so, like you said, revolutionary. And it was, man. There was so many. The first ofs, man, like the Rumble Pack, the 4-player split screen GoldenEye experiences, all the sports games, the tennis and the golf and the wrestling games, Ocarina, the first lock-on system.
I think N64 is one of the most important video game consoles of all time.
Yeah, same.
For sure.
But love it.
In terms of me just if I have to if you locked me in a room, right? If you told me I have to be stuck with only one system, with the full lineup for a year, I pick GameCube. If I can't pick a modern, you can't pick a modern console, right? You have to pick. We'd have to set a date, right? But if it's just N64, I'm picking GameCube.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
Just make sure I have enough memory cards.
Yeah, and I was thinking, yes, exactly. I was thinking about the
Yeah.
GameCube games I want on the NSO, and it's like I hope, please, we get like Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, and
By the way,
like,
cheat code, you can play Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask on GameCube. So
yeah.
yeah.
Just give us that. I can't believe we're still waiting for Twilight. I just want Twilight Princess, man. It's my favorite Zelda game. I cannot believe I'm still waiting for the HD remake of that, or a HD version of that. Like
Whenever
that's
it
all
happens.
I was so sure by now it would have happened. Like I keep holding off. It's just insane to me that we don't have that yet.
Right?
But,
Yeah.
man.
So I want your opinion on something. This is going back to Pokemon though.
I'm not a big Pokemon guy. I haven't played it yet because of you. I bought Arceus.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm playing Chronos. Yeah.
Oh.
As soon as I finish Chronos.
You haven't started yet.
No. I was playing Chronos.
Okay.
As soon as I finish Chronos, I'm jumping on it. So
and then you'll get mad at me, be like, "What is this piece of shit?"
Yeah. I won't.
I mean, you feel free to be honest with me. That's fine.
No. I'm actually very excited because I always hear, obviously, the discussion, and I know there's a big part of the Pokemon audience that is like, this game isn't evolving as much as they want. At least that's what I hear. No, part of the audience says that. But I'm thinking, well, maybe because I haven't played them like decades, maybe for me it will be like, oh damn, this is incredible. Because for me,
I'll tell you this: I looked at some Legends Arceus gameplay recently. Like, oh, that doesn't look as good as I remembered.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because it's just kind of like your expectations and standards change over time.
Of course.
But
of course,
I stand by it. I think Arceus is a great game.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Remember, you're playing a Switch 1 game. It's not even like a good looking Switch 1 game.
No, but it runs good on the Switch 2, I hear. So that's good.
ZA?
Not ZA, which Arceus, isn't it? That's like got a little Switch 2 boost, no?
I think with Scarlet and Violet had the boost.
Oh, is it? It's just that.
Okay, I don't know if Arceus had a boost. I mean, if it did, great. That'd be. I don't remember. But Scarlet and Violet was the one that had the performance problems.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just probably that one then.
Scarlet, it had the performance and glitches. Like Arceus doesn't really have.
Oh, okay.
Those kinds. I'm not saying it's perfect, but like it doesn't have like those kinds of issues. It's just a game. It runs fine.
It's a game. It's an experience.
Right. It's a game. It's a complete game. Is what I mean. It's not a buggy mess.
But I'm gonna be able to play with Snorlax, right? I'm gonna be able to capture Snorlax.
You can capture Snorlax.
That's all I want.
You could if you're good enough.
Best Pokemon. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. Like,
I think I will. I actually think I will.
I'm not really worried about it.
I'm very excited about it. Actually,
yeah. It's challenging.
Yeah, which is good. That's what I want. I was worried that it might be too easy, so I'm happy about that.
No, I think you're gonna be like, oh damn, I wish I played this sooner.
Yeah. I think I will.
If we have I feel like we have similar interests, right? So we like Metroid, you like Zelda. I like horror games too, right? So I think you'll be like, oh, it's cool. Now, how are you with RPGs though?
Yeah, no, I like RPGs. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna like it.
Yeah, I think I will.
You're gonna like it. You might even be like mad at yourself for not playing it sooner.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Then I'm gonna have to go out and order ZA tomorrow. Yeah.
That maybe. That might actually be a great way to kind of like push sales. Like, I'm not that they need it, but hey, Arceus is on sale. One quick thing. Feel free to talk. I'm just gonna answer a quick phone call here. I'm muting my.
Okay, I'll read some messages. You do phone call. I'll chat to the chat. Rude! How rude of me not to even say hi to the chat before. Hello, chat. Thank you for welcoming me. Let's see. Wilberforce says that's why the movie didn't stick with the heavy Italian accent. It would be too silly to have Mario talk like that too much. That's true. They'd have to hire Chris Pratt, right, for like a 10-year deal for the next few Mario games.
You gotta secure him. The game. Oh my god. Yeah. Shout outs to King Denny Frost with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. It's been a while. Restart peak times we heading into. We are headed into some good times. I think it's only gonna get even crazier. I mean, we're about to get Pokemon now. Prime Force coming out in a couple months. So and then next year, next year might be crazier, dude. Like, really.
Man. It's gonna be. We're gonna get everything on Switch, man. Like, we're getting Assassin's Creed Shadows December. like December.
Is it
like,
confirmed yet, or just basically confirmed?
It basically confirmed, but not
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
Bilbo Coon said, like, if Bilbo Coon says because they probably saw like an internal listing or something.
The fact that
right?
he put an actual date to it as well.
Yeah.
That as well.
It's
So
about to be announced.
but it's like, when is it? So that's what, the day before or the day after Prime 4? So I'm like, come on, Ubisoft, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, there's games coming out left and right. I don't think it's.
I'll buy both, but like I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, what's it called? Assassin's Creed Prime 4. Like, I think a lot of people are gonna.
I don't know.
Forget. I hope it does.
Assassin's Creed's pretty popular.
I hope so. Hopefully it's a good port. Hopefully it's as good as port as Star Wars, because they ended up doing a damn good job with that game. Oof, good game.
Very true. So let me ask you the question. Actually, I didn't ask you the question yet. So I'm assuming you haven't really been paying attention to the Pokemon leaks. You've been kind of
here and there, like I know I've seen some of the images, and I know about the new engine. And
all right, let me tell you about one of the leaks.
Yes,
these are leaks. Like these are
like, proper.
Like, so the thing about leaks, right? And minor tangent here. All a leak is information that's gone out that the company did not want out yet.
Yeah.
So really, there's a whole bunch of possible leaks, but the problem is you're never sure if it's a leak until, it's confirmed, right? But even then, sometimes you never find out because maybe it gets canceled or changed, right? But then there are other cases where there are things like this where we have literal, like, data mine hacks, right? And like internal documentation just getting out. So this is one of those things where it's a leak, right?
Yep.
There's no doubt. Now, where there is still room for doubt, though, is that while we know it's a leak of information that's internal, we do not know how the plans will adjust and change. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That all said, one of the leaks, and perhaps it's even crazier than the Gen 10 stuff, maybe, it's debatable, is that they are working on a remake of it's called Project I think it's called Project Seed. It's a remake that's going to be open world. It's going to have they're saying it's going to be an MMO. I assume not 100%, but have a lot of MMO elements, right? And it's going to be a game where you can walk from one Pokemon region to another.
Okay.
Hoenn.
Okay.
Sinnoh. Johto. Kanto. Those 4 regions.
This presumably with like the brand new engine and all this other stuff that's leaked out.
This would be the end that would come out after Gen 10.
Exactly.
A multi-region open world MMO
so people have been asking for
Pokemon game.
That's even, for years when I was watching the evolution of Pokemon, that's like kind of what I suppose me and a lot of people are asking for. That's like the dream, right? That's what you want. Like,
I guess it's not a remake because it's not gonna be the same story probably because it's four regions, but they're remaking the worlds.
Man, that would be cool. And that's after Gen 10, you said, didn't
after
you?
Gen, I mean, it's gonna be a Gen 10 game.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be the next Gen 10 game.
I mean, that's what people ask for.
According to the leaks.
Yeah. Well, leaks are leaks. Yeah, leaks are leaks. No, that's super exciting. I'm like, super exciting.
That might be more exciting than Gen 10.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like what I've dreamed of. Like I've always been like, man, what if they made a Pokemon game where you could explore all the regions in an open world, right?
Just seamlessly.
It also has MMO. That's also an MMO. Like that's the dream. Yeah. That's literally the dream.
Yeah.
It's like the same way we dream about the Ocarina of Time remake. This is the dream.
Yeah.
Right. This is the equivalent, but for Pokemon, and it was leaked. If Nintendo got leaked, we would see Ocarina of Time remake.
Yeah. But you're right though. That is almost like you said, like the dream, but almost like the dream that people just wouldn't believe or didn't believe would happen, would be possible, especially with what they say about Game
it's
Freak.
So crazy, right?
Yeah.
That we can't. It's hard to believe, but
it's one of those where it would sell. It's like common knowledge. That's what everyone wants. So if you're a developer, if you're the head of the studio, you're thinking, everyone who buys this game is telling us they want us to do this. So and in fact, people who aren't necessarily buying the games or necessarily into the game would if we did this, So the fact that it's even taken as long as it has, if that leak is true, it's insane. But that would sell. That would be almost the Breath of the Wild moment. And like really, like, do you imagine what, like, it's insane what they sell already. Imagine what that would sell.
Hey, are you a Bleach fan by any chance?
I know, but as in the anime, the games I haven't touched, but the anime, yes.
Are you a Dragon Ball fan by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. So you know how like Goku and Vegeta have like Super Saiyan Blue with God powers, right? And you know how Broly's like stronger than them as just a Super Saiyan without God powers?
Yeah.
What you're talking about
is
like if Pokemon got God powers, right? Like, because like Breath of the Wild is a little bit better than Pokemon sales after God's Breath of the Wild, the Breath of the Wild moment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pokemon already has like basically those levels without having that big moment.
Exactly.
So that'd be crazy.
But how many consoles that would sell as well? Because Pokemon, especially in Japan, always sells consoles anyways, right? It sells a lot of consoles, obviously. But something like that would be, oh man. And then like, what's that? Because there's that game that Game Freak did, and you remember that? It's not just Game Freak though. I should say. I don't. At least I don't think it's just Game Freak. But there's a game that they're making on the PS5 that everyone lost their minds because they couldn't believe it was Game Freak. Do you know which game I'm talking about?
Reincarnation.
Yes, and everyone's like, "What? Game Freak can do that?"
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe like when I saw that, I'm very intrigued to see what they can make from the ground up for the Switch 2. I want to see.
Yeah. By the way, King Denny Frost. I don't think this Pokemon game would be free to play. I think it'd be like something you just buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have Switch Online, you play it online.
Absolutely.
I think the MMO stuff is probably maybe a little exaggerated. I think the idea. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Like MMO Lite.
Probably MMO Lite, but I would argue Scarlet and Violet was already like a little MMO Lite because you could play throughout the entire open world with your friends, right? I hope they continue to expand on it. Like, I mean, I feel like, it's going to be more like you play cooperatively online with other people. And maybe you can battle.
I would love as well. I would love that as well. With game chat and everything. Oh, mate, that would be
it'd be really cool if you can enter a server. It's not just your friends, but randoms, right? Like, you can run into someone online. There's like PvP,
exactly.
Right? Like, oh, let's battle each other. Like, just randomly in the open world, right? Like, that would be... Or maybe you're both like hunting in the jungle for a Pokemon, and there's one Pokemon, but you both are going for it.
Oh man, that's
crazy.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that would get that it needs it, but it would get other people outside of the Pokemon circle, other players, to buy it as well. Because that's a groundbreaking moment. Like, imagine how they show that in adverts when it's advertised. It would be insane. Yeah.
Wilberforce Wooster's asking me, so about the Bleach analogy.
I just read that. Yeah.
So imagine if like Pokemon's basically like Aizen or Kenpachi, right? They're already like at high captain level, one of the best captains, right? But you've never seen them go Bankai, right? Like they're at the level of all the other captains. I mean, Aizen's like above that, right? But they're at the level of the other captains without Bankai, and they use Bankais, right? So that's where Pokemon's at. Like, Pokemon is at the level of Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and Smash after they've had their big moments, and it hasn't had its big moment. So what happens when it has its big moment, right? It becomes a 40-50 million seller consistently all of a sudden. Like, that would be insane. Yeah.
Do you know? Oh man, do you know what? Like, I've been saying all along about the Switch 2 that I don't think it's going to touch the Switch 1 sales, and I think maybe it might hover around the 100 million because I likened it to like the DS and the 3DS generation, and I actually said, like, I think by the end of its life cycle, I think I'm going to prefer the Switch 2 as a console and the library. I think it's going to have a better library than the Switch 1 as well. I just think it's not brand new. Like, we know what Joy-Cons are like.
It's a tougher sell.
Exactly. But man, seeing stuff like that, like a MMO Pokemon game, that, like you said, if these games start branching out and they start,
man, we got 3D Donkey Kong game, 4K Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, and we're
getting really good AAA ports, right? Like,
this is
the 60 FPS Resident Evil 9.
Exactly. The AAA ports is like paramount at the moment, because it's like I said to someone about the direct that, you know, everyone wanted to hear about a new Mario, a new Zelda, and I said, like, and people jumped on me, but I said, listen, even if they had included a new Mario or whatever, I still think Resident Evil 9 would have been the most important announcement in that direct, only because of the game it is, but the way it came out, right? It looks amazing. And this is the first time now, like, we never got this on the Switch, but like now we're getting AAA games that run 60 FPS, that are brand new generation games like Resident Evil, that are like the top of the line generation games, and we're getting them day and date. And now, like, I just heard Digital Foundry guys say that, my God, when they saw it running in portable, like at a glance, it looked like the PS5 version. And so it's like now for the first time, we're getting AAA ports day and date that a lot of players might actually double dip. Like, even if they got it on the PS5, they might think it's good enough now.
They want a handheld version of it.
Yeah, it's good enough that, and it, even further than that, it's even so good in the case of Resident Evil 9 that someone, if they've got the choice to only buy one version, might still choose the Switch 2 version just because of the portability factor and because it looks so close to the PS5 version and it runs 60 FPS, which we never had on the original Switch. So, like, all of this now, it's like game changing for the Switch 2, and I didn't even think it could do that. And so now I'm thinking, man, maybe it will surpass 100 million. Maybe it could catch the Switch 1. Like, now I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think things are going to really start to explode for the Switch 2. Like, it's really exciting times. You know, we're getting rumors of Crimson Desert, which, if you see that game, looks
Are there new rumors, or are you just talking about the GameStop leak?
That was just, was it GameStop? There was a retailer in France, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's still
France?
just that.
Oh, okay.
I saw one in France. Like, yeah, a retailer in France listed it. Can't remember when I saw that. That was a while ago. But so who knows about that one? But if that ends up coming, and if like Monster Hunter Wilds, obviously with the RE engine comes, and those two games particularly because they're open world games, if they make the jump to Switch 2 and they come out looking good, you know, like, that's it, man. I can't remember who I spoke to a while ago. It might have been, I don't know if it was Nash, but there was rumors that Rockstar have been like getting very nervous about basically the slow sales of the Xbox consoles, and now supposedly running tests on the Switch 2 to see if GTA 6 can run on it, because they know they're going to have to release it on the Switch 2 to recuperate sales, right? Because they know it's not going to sell on the Xbox. So it needs, and obviously we know it's coming out on the Series S anyways. So, and if that's like the game, right? That everyone's like, oof, will the Switch 2 get that? If it gets that, if they announce that next year, man, that the Switch 2 is like lift off, like completely. It's exciting, man. I think this is, man. Yeah. Oh, I've never been so excited for a Nintendo console. Like, we got AAAs on the level not seen since the Super Nintendo. We're talking about like 30 years more. Like, it's just I'm buying Pokemon, like, you know, like, it's just it's amazing times.
I think I missed this super chat earlier. I don't remember talking about this. Ultimate Despair Bear, sorry if I missed your super chat. I'm pretty sure I didn't talk about this. I didn't see it. Have you seen the old Majora's Mask Unreal Engine video on YouTube? I used to think it was the coolest thing ever. So thank you for the super chat. So weird. I don't know. Did you edit the comment? I don't know. I didn't see this point. Am I just getting old and I just don't remember this? Anyway, I don't think I talked about Majora's Mask and a Majora's Mask Unreal Engine video at all today. So, no. I mean, I know.
Is there a new one? I'm sure I've seen a Unreal Engine of Majora's Mask in the past.
I guess I'm kind of curious what you're talking about. Are you talking about this recent thing? Oh, is it? Did it say Unreal Engine 5 or just Unreal? It's an old.
Oh, did it say Unreal Engine 5?
An old one. So it's not
Unreal
new.
Engine. Yeah, I've seen an old one before.
I mean, there's a whole. I guess there's a lot. When I search on YouTube, Majora's Mask, Unreal Engine, like, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what to pick.
I mean, they all look incredible. They all look, but then, yeah, they do look good. But there's something about the arts that what it does to the art
When
style.
you brought that up, I don't think this is made with Unreal Engine, but when you brought that up, I was thinking of this. I don't think this is what you're talking about because I don't think it's Unreal Engine. It's not a game. It's a movie. You can see this?
Yeah,
right?
I can.
All right, I'm just gonna quiet the background music here. All right. So this is
Here, at the end of things, I can still feel its power.
like this is like one of the craziest things ever.
So good.
I don't think it's what you were talking about though.
When I found it, I could sense the doom of a dark omen brewing.
Oh, I like goosebumps.
Yeah.
And now, that imp has it.
Oh man, it's so beautiful.
Imagine.
Majora's Mask remake. Imagine if it looks this good. Oh my god, imagine if it looked this good.
It makes me want to play it.
I'm actually gonna stop the video because I don't want to play this whole video because you guys should just watch
It does make me
Yeah.
think, like, and I am a bit torn on the film being live action. A big part of me kind of wishes it was animated in some way, you know, like I don't know, CGI or just hand drawn. I don't know, but I know I love it, and I know it'll be. I hope it will be good. But I don't know. There's something magical for Zelda about you know, having it and like just there. That looked so good, and I thought, man, I wouldn't mind an animated version of Zelda rather than live action. Like live action, as excited as I am about it, it makes me nervous. Like the casting of Ganon's got me so nervous. Like I don't know how they're gonna do that, and I don't know how they're gonna do that.
I just want to say that this video that I played was uploaded in 4K 8 years ago. Yeah.
8 years ago.
That's impressive.
8 years ago? What?
Yeah.
How many views does it have now? Must have a stupid
Over 15 million views.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so Despair Bear saying that this Majora's Mask thing is like 10 years ago or something. I see something from 10 years ago, actually. All right, let me know if it's this. Let me know. All right, let me share this. I haven't seen this, so I don't even know what this could be like. Something terrible. This is Gourmet's Cryzanx. I know who Cryzanx is. They upload a lot of really cool Unreal Engine stuff. I like this music.
Oh, it's so nostalgic though.
Man,
I literally feel like taking out my 3DS and like played it before.
Graphics are amazing.
Yeah, we need to have improved graphics.
Oh. Oh my god. Is this it? Let me know if this is it.
Oh, there it is. Pissed off moon.
Like this looks good, but it doesn't look like a Nintendo game.
No.
A game. I mean, what it looks like a Majora's Mask tech demo.
Majora's Mask VR.
I'm not gonna watch the whole thing for this one either. I'm just gonna skip it a little bit. Oh, it got dark. Oh, it got dark. Oh, it gets dark here. It gets dark. What matters? Oh, look at the blur in the background. Oh, here it is. Oh no. Oh. Oh. Good transition.
Oh man, good times. Good times.
Fire. Alright. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but that was
man.
that was neat.
The thing with these games, I was thinking about this the other day when I saw some rage baiters video talking about how like Galaxy 1 and 2, like the least selling 3D Mario games or something, the remasters or remakes, obviously, remasters, and
They're not selling well.
apparently, I haven't seen the numbers myself, but apparently, well, at least compared to like other 3D Mario games that are brand new, right? Not 15-year releases.
It's not a brand new 3D Mario game.
Exactly. And so, but it did make me wonder though, like whether, because we grew up with these games, whether we forget that there's not necessarily everyone's going to not everyone's going to have that nostalgia, because not everyone played it when they were 10 or whatever. So for a lot of people, increasingly their first Zelda was Breath of the Wild. So it does make me wonder, like when we're talking about the Ocarina of Time remake, you'd think that should easily sell 10 million, but it's like, but will it? Like it should. But for a lot of people, they who've just like I still have yet to speak to someone, maybe someone in the chat has. I wanted to speak to someone whose first Zelda was Breath of the Wild, and then has gone back and played either Ocarina or Twilight or Wind Waker, and what they thought of those games. Because I haven't found anyone yet to see, because I've always wondered what they would think, whether they would think, like Anumu always says that he thinks those games are too limiting now and all of that kind of stuff. But it does make me wonder whether we just look at the idea of remakes of Ocarina and Majora's Mask as we just see it
I'll
differently.
just tell you this: I'm googling the sales for Final Fantasy VII Remake. It sold 7 million on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's been remade, and it's it looks how it looks now. So
like I think an Ocarina of Time remake would probably sell over 7 million copies.
I think so too, especially if it does have that kind of Final Fantasy VII. Visual redesign. What you
I think 10 million minimum, to be honest. But I am curious how that Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle is going to sell. Like, yeah,
I'm curious. I was talking to Nash about it the other day, and he was saying that because his favorite Mario is I don't know his favorite. I think his favorite Mario of all time is Mario World, but in terms of the 3D ones, it's Odyssey. And he was saying that Odyssey is so much better than the Galaxy games, and that increasingly he's spoken to a lot of people whose favorite game were the Galaxy games, but having gone back to play them, that they were like, oh no, actually Odyssey's a lot better, and actually maybe Galaxy's not as good as we remembered. I haven't gone back to play. I'm going to buy it tonight actually before I go to bed. But I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine that. I think. Odyssey
I think if you don't play the Galaxy 1 and 2 with the Joy-Cons, you're gonna feel it's a little off.
Oh yeah. You
have to play You have to play with the Joy-Cons, or else it doesn't feel right.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, if you play with a Pro Controller, I'm not saying you can do it. It's fine, but it's not ideal. And when we're talking about comparing one masterpiece versus another, awkward pointer controls absolutely makes a difference, right? So you got to play with the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons make it right.
Galaxies 1 and 2 just peak Mario. Yeah, just incredible
for sure. So I got a message here. Sam Talks Games, been a member for 32 months. Good to see you, Sam. Sam says,
Hey,
"Hey,
Sam.
Andres, haven't been able to make it sometimes because of night classes. How's it holding up? Honestly, I've been so out of the loop recently. We just had the most massive leak for Pokemon ever. Generation 10 coming out next year. It's got a new graphics engine called Wind and Waves. It's gonna have a whole bunch of stuff." Multi-region remakes in the works. Galar Legends is in the works. Gen 11 coming 2030. That's like a super summary there, and we're just kind of chatting. I said we would talk about Metro. We haven't really touched on Metroid that much.
I always
Metroid
say
Prime 2 and
this is
3.
always my fault. Like I just start talking random stuff.
I mean, but it's fine.
I apologize, chat.
No, do you still think we're getting a Prime 4 Direct? I'm making
yeah.
good on it now.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that translation from Nintendo's article about Prime 4? How they were making references to exploring vast expanses with Viola. In other words, more than one. So probably more than just an open desert. There's gonna be other open areas.
Oh yeah,
that's the implication. They also mentioned that there's going to be ore that you can destroy. And they also mentioned that the purple missile that comes out of the back of the motorcycle actually can target the 5 enemies at a time.
Yes, I did see that.
So,
yeah. I expected there would be multiple open areas, right? For sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I definitely expected that. In the direct for sure. I heard something about it today actually. When it's like they're expecting it to get announced very soon. I'm seeing.
Really?
It was just like in passing, but they
is this breaking news?
No, it's just.
Is this a Metroid Prime 4 video tomorrow?
No. It's just in passing that they were saying like they're expecting it soon. But I'm gonna speak to someone.
I mean, soon is so vague. Soon could be end of this month. Soon it could be in November.
I took it as November, but that's just me. I'm
if you find out, let me know. I got a trip coming up, and I'm worried it's gonna happen.
I'll tell you something.
At the same time.
No, I'll tell you like I'm gonna speak to my person this week. I'm gonna see them.
This week.
This week, I'm just gonna see them. So
this week, like, you heard it here first.
I'm just seeing them. I'm just gonna chat to them. But it's funny. I did talk to, I don't know, maybe about a week ago, and they were telling me stuff about how like not strict, because they're always strict. But how angry Nintendo was basically about a lot of stuff leaking with the last direct, and how careful everyone is being with what they're letting slip, basically, because like they're like a lot of people are being watched. They're all being watched, obviously, because so much leaked and so much information came out, right? And so now a lot of people that have information are being very, very careful about like what they're saying, because they're obviously getting watched. I'm gonna have conversations, so I'll see what they tell me. But I think I was talking to Nash, and I was asking about Metroid 2 and 3, and I need to re-ask him, because he does this thing when he'll talk to me and he'll kind of smile, but he won't say anything. But it's like, I know he knows something because he's smiling in a certain way, and I don't know. I think he knows something about Prime 2 and 3 as well.
We're still live, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much more, but just he definitely knows some stuff for sure. Yeah. We were talking about the lineup of everything, right? So like, we've got like the book coming out this month, isn't it? This month.
Yes, October 28th. It's on Tuesday.
That, and then like the release dates for the Amiibo, which are quite curious as well.
November 6th, which is the same day as Hyrule Warriors release date.
Exactly, right.
And then Silex on December 4th of Prime 4. So
exactly. And so I don't know. I was asking him about Prime 2 and 3 in relation to like the release dates, all these Amiibos in the book.
I mean, real talk, and I'm kind of sad about this. I think what makes the most sense is for the direct to happen the last week of October, because of the art book, right? Maybe that's when they should drop Prime 2 and 3, right? There's no game coming out that week from Nintendo, at least, so it's a good time to do it. The week of Hyrule Warriors just seems weird. I don't see why they would put the Metroid Prime 4 Direct the same week Higher Wars comes out. The thing is, though, we know we're supposed to get a Kirby Air Riders Direct, and I imagine that's supposed to happen first. So when do we get that Kirby Air Riders? I mean, maybe we don't get the Kirby Air. Maybe we get Prime 4 Direct before Kirby Air Riders, but I don't. No, I think. Well, there's not much time left. Actually,
I was gonna say, like, it's coming up.
Right, like I don't. What if they do both directs in the same week? Because all right, so just looking at the weeks here.
Well, I have no idea because I haven't been told specifically. But even back then, I always imagined like just what you said, like, well, you know, surely they could do it in the same week, right? They could do that.
They could. And
then like it's funny because with Prime 2 and 3, I feel like that's something they could do on the Nintendo Today app. Like increasingly they're using the Today app for everything, and you can see
that was part of the initial rumor. So
yeah, exactly, and like they're really trying to push everyone onto the Today app, you know, and they are, you know, we've got like obviously Splatoon Raiders on there, you know, we're getting like big announcements on there, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's where we hear about Prime 2 and 3.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I was gonna say about the calendar stuff, right? Like, so I don't think it's happening. This is Pokemon week, right? So I don't think you do it this week, right?
Nah, no way.
Next week makes sense, right?
What's the date of the book again?
28th.
28th.
Well, I just meant for like Kirby Air Riders.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
Right, like, so I could see Kirby Air Riders being a direct happening that week, right? And then, because the thing is, Kirby Air Riders comes out November 20th, right? So typically they have their game specific directs a month before, at the latest, right? Like, so October 20th, like, you know, next week makes sense, right? Because after next week, it's less than a month away, right?
Yeah, soon.
So
soon.
Yeah. Now, the week after, the art book's coming out on the 28th. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they'll do with that. I mean, I think they could do some cool stuff. But the other thing is that the week after that, Hyrule Warriors comes out. So I feel like you don't want to, because there's also going to be reviews and there's going to be the promotion. So I feel like you don't want to do any other directs that week, right?
Yeah, no, and especially not Metroid one, because people already, you know, like the reception he got at the direct was very mixed, and it's not even necessarily because they didn't like the trailer. Like, I think a lot of people just thought it was a bit underwhelming, but also in the way they treated it. It was like, we got other games that got shown and then they got additional information afterwards, after the trailer, right? And they spoke about it. Whereas the Metroid trailer, it just came and went, and it wasn't mentioned again. It was quite a short trailer. And I think some people were a bit like, and it's obvious why, because there's going to be obviously a direct on it and they're going to show a lot more, and maybe they don't want to show too much, right? They just give you a little hint, show you the bike and whatever. But like they really can't keep, you know, messing up this messaging. Like, they need to just give it its designated spot, just have all eyes on it, nothing else happening around it, either before or after. Give it like a, you know, a good space and time where the conversation could just flourish for days afterwards. And so that's why I think you're right. It can't be too close to the Kirby stuff, especially when it's coming out, as you said, reviews and all that. And that's a big game, the Kirby game. That's a big game. And so, yeah, no, I would put some distance between it for sure. But you can't put too much because the game is out soon. So
yeah,
it's a tough one. I've been talking to Nash loads about Metroid. I'm actually quite nervous about Prime 4. I'm quite not in terms of how I think it's going to end up. I think it's going to be incredible. I think the game's going to be incredible. But I think so. I think it's going to be really special. I think it's going to be really special.
I think we shouldn't look at it as a normal December game, because I think Nintendo's just on like a different like timeline right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And but I am worried that the way they've handled the messaging, and it's been quite clunky, and Yeah, you know, I don't know. They never really capture its essence properly, and I feel like people just kind of forget about it after a while. Like the hype, even now, like the hype for it is like outside of us, right? The Nintendo people in the know, people who are really hardcore fans.
I don't know if it's just been my audience, but I feel like the conversations around Metroid's actually been pretty good.
Oh, good.
Following the direct.
Mm.
Really, I just think it's about as good as reasonably can be expected without them going into hyper overdrive with marketing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Because if this, like we were talking earlier, right? And WikiLeaks speaks, Kiwi speaks. When he was talking about WikiLeaks, when he's talking about the budget for like how much the budget would be for like Ocarina and remake, and then like supposedly, I wish I could have asked him actually, because the info that like Nash was saying is that they've been working on Prime 5 for a while, simultaneously, right? Like for a while, he said, meaning like the budget for this game is insane because now it's being put into Prime 5 as well. And so, like, at the end of it, if this ends up selling another 3 million, man, I'm like, at what point do Nintendo think, look, these 3D Metroids just are not selling? In fact, like, even our 2D Metroids are selling more. So, like, that's what makes me a little nervous that this game is not it's gonna sell at least 5. It's gonna push more, man. It has to. But there's still
The thing is, even if it sells 5 million, that's not enough.
No, I mean, it is.
You know, it's more than double the budget for less than half, for not more. It needs to make sense, right? Now, you also could look at it as an investment, right? Where you see the potential, so you kind of have to put in that effort to see how it expands. And the thing is, like, I think Prime 4 is crazy, dude. Like, you know, recently I realized, and I talked about it in the video, that there's a volcano. Right? Like, they actually have a mountain where there's smoke coming out. Right? And then there's also the storm area. And there's the giant forest, the giant tree. And then this is like this giant alien structure. And then there's the snowy mountains. Like, they have all of these like big things off into the distance. And now we're hearing that there's multiple vast expanses. Like, it's not open world, but it sounds like there's a lot of open exploration, right? But then they also have like the typical Metroid Prime gameplay. Like this, and we've seen the file size of the game. It's enormous. Right? Like, this is gonna be a crazy adventure.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be incredible.
Like I think if Nintendo can convey that this is like a super ambitious, amazing, alien, exotic adventure with awesome puzzles and combat and cool story, like,
that's it. But you said it. You see, like, you said it perfectly, because I think part of the problem, and I've said it so many times, is that I'm still convinced that the people who haven't really played Metroid, I still think they look at the trailers for the Prime games, and at first glance they think, okay, first person shooter.
But the Viola stuff, I think, changes that.
I think you're right. I think that does. I think, yes, I think you're right. I think that does convey more of an adventure style game. That, you're right. That automatically makes someone think, okay, this is something more than a first person shooter. Because it's an adventure game.
They need to showcase that it's an adventure. They really need to sell people
100%
that.
100. They need to show like more.
And they need a trailer like Breath of the Wild. That epic Breath of the Wild trailer. They need that for Metroid Prime.
100%. Because like, they need to show a lot more of like the puzzle solving, like the platforming, like, you know, the adventuring, the bike stuff. Like, if they can get that messaging across to like let people know, no, this isn't meant to be a Call of Duty. This isn't meant to be Halo. This is a proper, you know, like adventure game with action in it. Yes, with first person action in it. You know, it's a game where you're isolated, right? Then hopefully, I've always thought it's in the messaging that they fail, and because I think if you ask a lot of people, if they just look at the trailer, they would just think it's a first person. Not this one because of the bike, but in the past, and I think that's part of the problem, because it's like these games are not just universally loved by Nintendo fans, but they're all critically acclaimed games, right? Like everyone, these are like loved by everyone. These are considered like the peak of gaming. So Yeah, it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame, and because if it didn't sell well, I don't know what that means for Prime 5, and Prime 5 presumably is being made from the ground up on the Switch 2. Who knows if Prime 4 and 5 are even connected? What if it ends on a cliffhanger? You know, like we just don't know. So it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame. Hopefully now, because it's also coming on Switch 1, that boosts its sale numbers. Although, like, I don't know how many. I'd be intrigued to see what it sells on the Switch 1. I hope it sells well on Switch 1, but I'll be intrigued. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, it's getting late, guys. I haven't eaten dinner.
That is so sad.
Yeah. But I also got to go to sleep soon, so I'm gonna.
Yeah. For me, it's 3:15 in the morning, but like I'm still.
And thank you for showing up last minute.
No, not at all, not at all.
Well, that can be misconstrued what I just said. He was not invited beforehand, right? I asked him last minute. It's like, hey, I'm hoping I can get someone on. I know you're probably too busy, but you know, if you can, I'm going live in 10 minutes. 15, I said. Yeah.
No. I mean, even that's what I'm saying. Even now, like I'm probably gonna play Chronos for like another 45 minutes before I go to bed.
That's awesome.
Like it's all good, man. No, and obviously I appreciate the invite so much, dude. It's a complete honor for me to be here with you and to be with you and everyone in the chat. So thank you so much, man.
No, dude, for sure. Guys, check out his channel, Attack the Backlog, linked in the description below. It better be.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. But
I will be if anyone does want to go by, I think on Sunday, like a donkey that I am, for getting that game key cards, you only need one, and you know if you live with other people who got Switch 2s, you can just bring it across. I bought 2 copies of Star Wars like a complete donkey, so I'm
you
gonna
can only
be
play the game key
away.
card one on one console at a time, but once you can transfer it over.
Yeah, because it just downloads it onto each one, right? So you just need the one key card to. So I was saying
it would unload from the like it's one or the other. I think. Yeah,
I think so. But then Nash was laughing at me. He's like, "Oh my god, why'd you have 2?" I said, "I don't know. I'll give one away now." So that's what I'm gonna do now. But we learn.
Yeah, for sure. All right. But gotta call it a night. Have a good night, everyone. Good stream. See you soon. Take care.
Bye, guys.